Hey guys, Jacob here. This is another 1.8.3 build video for the Division. This is going to be going over my Suicide Reckless build. I'll show you guys right now. As you guys can see, I'm running Reckless with the 4-piece gear set since you need 4 pieces of each one to get Skull Gloves unlocked. I'll go right into the weapons so you guys can see 30.4 base damage. The weapon damage is insane with this build. I'm going to tell you guys, I tell you this now, but the survivability rate is very low, so don't expect to survive too long unless you're using cover or playing in a team with this build. As you can see, deadly responsive card counter. The mods are pro rate at sight with crit chance, crit damage, and headshot damage. Extended mag with crit chance, rate of fire, magazine size. Small grip with crit damage, stability, and optimal range. Loud vent break with crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. The M700 is rolled for deadly, prepared, and competent to get the extra damage. The mods are a C79 scope with crit chance, crit damage, and optimal range. You could use headshot damage, but that's the current scope I don't have on. It's the one on my other gun. Extended mag with crit chance and crit damage. Both you want both of them on the damn mag. Because tell you guys this now. If you can, if you can't, then you can't. But if you can get both of them, I suggest getting them so you can hit targets a little bit harder. Small grip with crit hit damage, stability, and optimal range. FDE suppressor with crit chance, headshot damage, and crit hit damage. You could use a loud vent break if you want, but at personal opinion or personal use, I guess you could say I like the suppressor more because I like the sound of it, I guess you could say. The sawed-off shotgun is rolled for self-preserved, predatory, and determined. This is not really that important unless you're using it on our build, but on this build, it's really unnecessary. The Reckless chest piece is rolled for firearms, health, EDR, increased kill XP. Firearms crit chance mod with a stamina health mod. The mask is a Deadeye mask with crit chance, firearms, distorting resistance, and a firearms health mod. The knee pads are crit hit damage, firearms, crit chance on the mod, and a first aid self heal. The backpack, crit damage, firearms, bleed resistance, firearms mod, 2 first aid self heal mods. The skull gloves, which are pretty damn important in this build, and they have SMG, crit chance, and crit damage, and firearms. The gloves are striker, the holster striker. My bad, no, I said gloves. The all stats are rolled across, as you guys can see, and the mod is a pulse crit chance mod. The mods aren't really that important in this build, personally, on the the performance mods, but you can have them just to have them, I guess. I'm going to tell you guys why now I've been using this build, mostly because I wanted to use something that's just fun for once. I know Nomad and Striker and Banshee, all those builds are fun to use, but I've used them a shit ton, so I decided to throw something together just to use in Skirmish and Skirmish only. I would not recommend using this build in the Dark Zone or Last Stand unless you have someone who has Reclaimer, because this build will get you melted. If you're going to run something this high, you're going to have a Reclaimer. If you're running Skirmish, then I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's just 4v4, and you're not constantly fighting 16 dudes that are rogue police in the DZ. Now I'll get into the character sheet real quick and show you guys the crit hit chance on the weapons. So as you can see is 48% crit chance, 129 damage, 62% headshot damage. The M700, which I'll show you guys now, if it lets me. Sometimes it tends not to let me. There we go. 25% crit chance, 132 damage, and 175% headshot damage. Now, the survivability, so you guys can see, is pretty low. 230,000, that's the lowest I've been in a long-ass time. I think the last time I was that low was in 1.6 when everybody was using Vigorous. The toughness is very low as well. This build is, has high damage. Yeah, it does, but survivability-wise, it's very low. That's why I recommend running this with a team. Now I'm going to tell you guys about something about the skull gloves. Some people don't know this, but to get the skull gloves active, you have to use 4 different pieces of gear. That goes for the gear sets. You can't use 2-piece Banshee. You can't use 2-piece Deadeye. They all have to be by themselves, so they have to be single. You could use something. You could use something like, I guess, Alpha Bridge chest piece and get a little bit more damage. But the Reckless is what I chose to use. So to get these unlocked, you have to use 1 piece of each. Otherwise, they will not be active because the set bonus will be active. Now I'll show you guys the abilities I'm using on this build, which aren't that important. Some are. The booster shot, which is the main extra damage. If you want to get that extra damage, you're already hitting at 30k. So, I mean, if you want more damage, then go for the booster shot. To prevent from pred bleed, which, personally, if you already get hit by a few bullets and someone has high damage, you're going to get shredded with this build as is, unless you're using a team Reclaimer build, if someone's healing you, or if someone has a type of healer build, like a Final Measure healer or something. But that's to prevent the pred bleed. Now the talents I'm using, I've been switching between adrenaline and steady hands, mostly for the sniper and hitting people at distance. But if you want to prevent pred bleed, then use adrenaline. Critical save when you're almost dead and make the resistance by 20% for 10 seconds. Combat medic for your teammates. And strike back when you're almost dead. You can use your booster shot and maybe heal someone when you're about to die. That's really about it for the build, guys. I know this is something a little bit different. This is my Suicide Reckless build I decided to make just for fun. I know you guys are probably going to say, oh, this build is going to get you killed, or this build is, you know, you're losing a lot of damage and you should have more survivability. I know, guys, it's just I use a shit ton of different builds in this game, and it's gotten to the point where I want to try to make something that's a little bit different and something fun to use just in skirmish. That's really about it for the build video, guys. As always, I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you all enjoyed.
Thank you.